Welcome everyone to our monthly support group leader roundtable. Today is Monday, April 6th, and we have a super exciting program for you. We have two amazing guest speakers, so get ready. We're going to get started reviewing our collaboration agreements like usual. Be patient with technology. That is the beauty of Zoom. We have some technical difficulties sometimes, but we are here to assist you. And remember that these roundtables are here to exchange insights and build relationships. So pay attention who's here. Who can you start a collaboration with so that we can move in our community with purpose, creating change, engage in our community, and creating awareness as well. So today we're going to start with a chat storm. So at the bottom of your screen, the little icon for the chat, you can answer this question. How do new members learn about your support group? How do they come to you? Do you have a flyer at your local library or the community center? Maybe some of you have an ad in the local newspaper, or brochures with your local physical therapist. That is one way that I get new members in my group. It's through the local physical therapist. So let's see your questions and what do you have to share. So usually find it online with Google. That is great. Referrals from neurologists. Yay, we want that. We want to work with our local healthcare providers. A Facebook page. If you don't have one, that is a great way for people to learn about you and find you. Website of the hospital. That is great. That collaboration with the local health system as well. Wonderful. Word of mouth. Flyers left with healthcare providers. That is great. I have two flyers, one with QR codes and one with all the groups. Oh, that is wonderful. QR codes are so easy to use now. Just scan with the camera and it takes you to the website. Flyer at the YMCA, the library, and the physical therapist. That is wonderful. Ads in the local papers. Yes, we have learned that still works. Believe it or not, people still read newspapers. Referrals, community event flyers, Facebook, social media, word of mouth. The neurologist, I love seeing that we're working with healthcare providers. You have websites, business cards. Excellent. And if you haven't heard yet, PMD Alliance has the National Parkinson's Directory. And it's very easy to add your support group to that list. So if you haven't done so yet, please do. Add your support group, your exercise class, encourage your healthcare providers to add themselves to our National Parkinson's Directory, and it will be easier for people to find you as well. So thank you everyone for sharing. Oh, I like this one. Speaking at local events. That is a great idea. If you like public speaking, go and visit, health fairs and raise awareness about Parkinson's. Now I am jealous because someone is doing pizza night flyers. So pizza, who doesn't like pizza? That is a great way to connect with people as well. Wonderful. Hopefully all these ideas are helpful to you. You can save the chat. So all these ideas that people shared here, if you didn't take notes, this is going to be recorded, or you can find them in the chat as well if you save the chat. So thank you, everyone. Casco connection. Okay, I'm going to have to learn more about that. Casco. How can Casco help us raise PD awareness and for people to learn about our support groups? So, wonderful. Now that almost everyone, I think, is connected and ready to go, we're going to continue with today's program and we're going to do a quick poll. So in your screen is going to pop up two questions, and you just have to hit yes or no to answer your questions. And today we want to know if you use social media to promote your group. Okay, we want to see how many of you attending today's program are, sorry. Amanda, is the poll coming up? I don't see it yet. Oh, there you go. Now I see it. Thank you. All right, and you can answer your questions there. And I love seeing the answers as they happen. You know how 50% yes, 40% no, and it keeps moving. And it seems like most of you are using social media to promote your group. And most of you are organizing educational events in your community to raise awareness. That is wonderful. If you're not using social media, we have some experts here that are going to give us tips and tricks on how to do it and reach more people. And also, if you're not doing educational events in your community as well, we have experts here that can give us some ideas to do so. And also, in our breakout discussions, you can talk more about this. How can you do? How can we collaborate? How can we help you if you need help? Okay, so yeah, we have 62% of you are using social media to promote your group, and 76% of you are doing educational events in your community. So that is wonderful to hear. Thank you, everyone, for that. Okay, and we can end the poll and we're gonna continue. And we're gonna continue with today's topic, which is creating Parkinson's awareness with our group members. How are we engaging our group members to do so? To be out there spreading the word about our group, talking to people about Parkinson's and all the resources that are available. And to talk about this topic, we have two very special guests today. And I'm sure most of you know Esther. And I just asked her, how do I pronounce your last name, Esther? So for the last 5 minutes, I have been practicing. Esther Labib-Kiyarash. I did it. So thank you, Esther, for joining us today. And most of you know Esther from social media. She's what we consider an influencer, very active in the social media, in all the social networks, especially TikTok. So she will be able to talk to us about how to optimize social media to raise awareness. And joining Esther, we have a very special friend also, Dr. Megan Dooley from North Dakota, who will be talking to us about community events, about how to engage the members in our support groups in those community events. She has quite a few events lined up for this year, and she's going to be sharing those events with us. So that makes me super happy to have them both here. So Esther, welcome and take it away.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Clemmy, and everything that you do. So welcome everybody. If you don't know me from social media, I go by the moniker Shaking in My Boots on Facebook and Instagram. But fun fact, I actually met PMD Alliance at the very first in-person anything that I went to right after I got diagnosed. So I live in El Paso, West Texas, and we don't have a movement disorder specialist here. We don't have a lot of resources. Everybody kind of forgets about us. And I saw that they were doing an event in Las Cruces, which is like New Mexico, which is like 45 minutes from my house. So I was still working, but I took the morning off and I drove down there. And I sat in just a really incredible session where I learned so much about the disease that I had just gotten diagnosed with. I met Kelly Papish. She talked about hallucinations and delusions, which was super scary, but also like informative and something really important to know. And when we left that I followed them out into the parking lot. And I was like, I want to be an advocate. I want to help and do stuff. And I remember they were thinking they probably thought I was crazy. And I started my social media right around that time. And I did start on TikTok, which was also kind of an unusual route. Not a lot of, people, not the normal demographic of people with Parkinson's, but I found a lot of community there. And the online community is so important for a lot of different reasons. Number one, a lot of people just simply cannot leave their home. A lot of people cannot communicate because of disease progression and things like that. So the online community is always home for me. And I cannot tell you how much it's helped me and how much I enjoy just trying to pay it forward and help bridge these two communities. So when I started on TikTok, I just shared my story. And that's kind of the secret sauce, I think, about everything online is just, people obviously want to feel genuine. They want to see genuine people being genuine and honest about what they're dealing with. And so once that took off for me, and I did realize that a lot of people are not going to download TikTok, which is fine. That's when I created my Instagram and Facebook account. And I'm going to kind of give you like a really quick sort of master class on all things social media. When you choose to use social media, particularly for your groups, which I also eventually ended up being asked to take over the local support group that I connected with when I got diagnosed. So when I got diagnosed, I was looking to, connect with people in my community. And I called one of the other organizations and I was like, are there any support groups around me? And they take your zip code. And now the group that group, I have listed it in the PMD Alliance registry, which I think is an amazing offering. It's sometimes hard to get your group information out there to the larger orgs. I have fought with them incessantly about that. I do not know why it's that complicated. It does not need to be. So that is a thing that PMD has really solved for us, and I'm very grateful for that. So when I went to the in-person support group, I was still working, and I have two middle schoolers. They were younger there, and all these groups they tend to meet on weekdays at like 2 o'clock, which for somebody that's working or I had kids in school was not a convenient time for me. But I found a day that I was off work, and I went, and I showed up in the room. And I was like, hey. And I think they thought I was lost. They're like, are you looking for the Starbucks or something? I'm like, no, I have Parkinson's. And but it was a really pivotal change in my thinking because yes, most of the people were older. But I stayed and I learned and I connected with people, and then eventually was asked to lead that group myself. And so I always say I kind of did things backwards. I think what I do online is much easier than what I do in my local support group, hands down. Okay. Anybody can get up and make a video, and that's to varying success. But getting 12 people in a room at my local church for a Parkinson's meeting, it's a lot of work. And so what I did was initially for my group was make a Facebook page. Now, when you make a Facebook page, the way that, because the company Meta owns Facebook and Instagram both now. If you create an Instagram page, it will automatically create a Facebook page for you and vice versa. But that was kind of another thing that I learned is I accidentally kind of did it all under my existing personal Facebook account, which is like a big no-no. To tease those things apart later is really, really hard. So I would say probably the first step is creating a group email, dedicated group email for your group. I think I did that in Gmail. and then setting up your page through that. Separate logins, separate everything from your own self. If it's done in any way, shape, or form under your existing things, the pages get intertwined and it's a mess. So that is kind of my first like FYI. If you want to create an Instagram or a Facebook, create a dedicated email for your group first, which is also good anyway because it gives people a way to get in touch with you. Um, Once I created that Facebook page, though, because it was already kind of connected to my influencer account, it pulled it to a much larger audience, which was great. But I think there's really you have to be really clear about what your expectations and goals are, right? For your Facebook page, if you choose to go that route. It can be a great resource to push out other resources like PMD Alliance stuff. But especially for the older people, there is a lot of hand holding involved. I still to this day have people in my group that think it's a website, and I keep telling them it's not like a dedicated website. It is a Facebook page. And there is part of me that is also like, do I even want all my people on Facebook, to be honest with you? Because what I found with Facebook over time is it's so full of misinformation, you know? So it's like everything, it's a tool. And it can be used for, I mean, you can beat somebody to death with a garden hoe, or you can plant a beautiful garden with it. It's your choice. It's just a tool, you know? Um, but for me, I feel like I've benefited from it because it has pulled people to my group. Not only that, what I see now when I go out in my community is they already know about my group because of Facebook. And so when people come to the group, I always ask them, how did they learn about the group? And they will say Facebook. And I mean, it's good to bring people in that way, but you just need to be really, really aware of the fact that there is a lot of what I consider dangerous things on Facebook for people with Parkinson's. A lot of people selling false hope, a lot of scammers, you know, things like that. So if you do it, there is a way to sort of filter all that out and you know you don't have you can like block things and stuff like that. There's lots of like YouTube tutorials, but I always tell everybody if you have a grandchild, a niece, a nephew, a cousin, a neighbor, anyone really under the age of 35, they are your best resource. My children can spot fakery. They can, help me build stuff like so much easier than I could do myself, and they're really really happy to do it. So that's kind of one of my caveats is that it's going to give you reach, but it is going to also come with it this responsibility, but also it kind of gives you this very unique insight into what the larger community is seeing. So people come to me all the time and they're like, is this, can I go to Mexico for stem cells or whatever? And if I wasn't online, I'd be like, are you crazy? That makes no sense. But if you are online, then you see, well, that's because they just saw 22 paid ads about stem cells in Mexico or whatever that is. And so it does kind of let you know what's going on in the greater discussion so that you can be well prepared. And I will also give this caveat that for my group, and I feel like this is important for all the groups, we are there for community support. We are not there for medical advice. We are also there not to sell things to people, period. You know? Um, but when it comes to community, I think it's just really invaluable. After I made my Facebook page, though, I really went all in on well, I had my first big event last year, and PMD Alliance and Clemmy was here for it. I don't know if anybody, saw that, but we brought Ray Dorsey to El Paso, and we took him to across the border to Juarez, Mexico, to our sister city, to our brothers and sisters in Parkinson's in Mexico. And that was not just an incredibly powerful experience. I, you know, I don't even have words for it. It was just like such a beautiful, perfect in every way event. So we did one in Juarez and then walked back across and then did an event in El Paso. And that was the most people that I've ever had in a room. If I'm happy if I get 25 people in a support group meeting. There was how many people were there, Clemmy? Like at least over 50 for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe.
65.
Yeah. And that again was a really great feeling and to be honest, we didn't do that with a lot of pre-planning involved. The turnaround on that was really, really fast. And which was amazing, but also like we hit it hard. Okay, so I made flyers with the QR code on them. Again, my 13-year-old made the QR code. I didn't know how to do that. But there, I always say with YouTube, I could probably perform open heart surgery at this point. But I made a flyer and PMD Alliance made flyers too. They embedded the QR code, the sign up stuff, just made it really, really easy. I love that about them. And I took them to the libraries. I took them to the pizza places. I took them to the physical therapy offices. I took them to the neurology offices. I took them to every place, the university that trains, PTs and OTs. I reached out to the speech language therapists, like all of that. I peppered this town with any place I could think of flyers for that. And, I'm not going to lie, as somebody who, quote unquote, doesn't look like I have Parkinson's, I'm met with mixed receptions, especially when I go to like the senior centers and things like that. They definitely look at me side-eyed. I do find it helps, like I'll wear like a t-shirt or something like that sort of identifies me as someone with Parkinson's. And that makes it a little bit easier for me. But it's like everything. You get out of it what you put into it. But I've also found, honestly, like even with the neurology offices and things like that, if you also say like, oh, I have a Facebook page or something, and I'll put your information or I'll repost about your Facebook page, it becomes kind of this little transactional thing that benefits everyone. I've found even my own general neurologist has a Facebook page and stuff like that. And so following them and then them following you back also extends your reach. Don't assume that your people are not on social media. Even people that say they're on social media, because I hear that all the time, especially from the doctors and the researchers. They're like, I don't do social media. And then I'm like, let me see your phone. So I think you're lying. I think so many people will, just because they don't follow you or like your page, doesn't mean they don't see it. And that's what it's all about, is just visibility and outreach. Um, and it's the same with like, any program. What we're doing is providing resources and connecting people with credible resources. Because again, there are so many people that are not credible and not to be trusted. And so I feel like so always in awe and appreciate those that have started support groups and run the larger support groups and how much work goes into that over time. And the dedication and the work that just goes unseen. So, I mean, I want you all to know, like, yes, I'm very, very visible. And that is also that was very intentional because my thought was always everybody that sees me is going to say, wait, she can't have Parkinson's, you know? Like she's too young for Parkinson's. That can't be right. But then when then in the hopes that someday it just has that realization that like, yes, it can be anyone, young or old, you know, any color, any creed. And that is awareness in kind of its purest form. But when nobody wants to see me and hear me anymore, I will still be in my little church classroom doing the work that I think matters and has the most impact in the community, which is the support group work. So I thank you all for everything that you do.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you for being so candid and sharing our stories. So, next, I want to welcome Dr. Megan Dooley. Hi, Megan.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Esther, that was great information. I'm going to share a quick little bit about how I got into our Parkinson's support group, a little bit about our group makeup, because I think that's so important across the country and the world. Who's in your group? Do you have younger people? Do you have people living with Parkinson's, or do you have care partners that are assisting with that? Do you have medical providers? Who kind of makes up your support group? I actually got connected with our Bismarck Parkinson's support group. Gosh, I don't know, 2017, when I was a professor at our college, teaching OT students. And I wanted to do research in our community on individuals living with Parkinson's and how to still engage in their community and stay living in their community. I met the most fiery group of individuals, and so I continued to go back for several years to do research with this group, which led to them asking me to be a part of the support group and be on the board with them. So our board or our support group actually started probably in 2011 or somewhere around there. And it was people living with Parkinson's and their support system. So we had some spouses, we had some kids that got on the board, and they actually took the support group from one of our local medical providers or medical facilities and said we kind of want to just do our own thing. And it has quickly grown into a very busy board. I love that Esther talks about social media. I will say our group is made up with older individuals. And so with social media and with COVID became a very shock to everyone's system of how do we stay connected? And they have definitely learned. But when she talks about scammers and all the things, we are blessed to have someone on our board that is very tech savvy, and she kind of calms the nerves of our group when we see a scam message come in or a scam something, and she kind of handles that for us. So I encourage people to find people to be a part of your support group or your board that just have one small job. They don't have to come to every meeting, they don't have to do all those things, but they can help with the tech. Just like Amanda was typing in, hey, this is how you can do this. It's really helpful to have that person that maybe can't be at every meeting, but can hop in and help with things. We are a board that is made up with a lot of people who help the support group in very specific ways. Um, so our support group is large. We are the largest active support group in the state of North Dakota. We are very much a working board, almost to the point where I say I think we need to hire someone to like run our board or run our support group because we're trying to do so much while working. I shared the link to just our website page. Our website page is not perfect. It is not anything lovely or great or anything, but again, because we're a working board, we get our information up there. And that's all that people want is, oh my gosh, there's a race coming up soon. How do I sign up for it? It's very basic and easy to work through. And as Esther said, most people have some sort of connection to online, but we just need to get them to something easy to click and go from there. And so the way we connect is kind of the big question Clemmy had is several ways for us. Um, it is April. We have a huge walk coming up at the end of the month. And I am going to maybe I'll just share my screen quick. So then it's recorded on here for everybody. But I will just show screen to share. Okay. So we do have our support group does a race, and it's our largest fundraiser. So we have a race for Parkinson's. This is very basic. It's our website. The information is there. People can come and sign up to participate. We get over 500 participants currently that walk or run or do whatever with that. And we get a lot of sponsorship. So it's a great way to connect. And because we know that movement is important for people living with Parkinson's, it's a great way for us to get people out. It has grown so much that we now hire an event planner with us because it got to be too much to handle. So if you're ever interested in starting a walk, ask. I think their first walk had 5 or 10 people at it, and now we're over 500. So it's very cool to see that grow. The other thing that we do along with that, which has gotten us more connected to our community. If you saw on the first page, there's whoops, where's home? I don't even know how to follow through our thing. Here we go. Coming up, we do a thing with our local donut shop for the entire week. We sell donuts and we have our own donut every year. It's got strawberry icing, and the proceeds go to us at the end of the week for our race for Parkinson's. So they have to come run off the donuts, and we actually get the donuts also for the day of the race. So that's really cool to connect us to others in our community. Another thing that we do that I am currently working with Clemmy on for this year is we do every year have an annual education symposium. I'm trying to see if I can find our actual symposium. Here's some of we've had like Robert Cochran, we've had Jimmy Choi come, and that's what all of our proceeds go to is for those events. We have community vendors that come and participate. We've been doing that for, gosh, I don't even know how many years, probably 10 years or more now. And this year we're going to finally do an event for CMEs, for our providers in our state. The other thing, as you can see on our website, that gets our name out there. I know Esther talked about like physicians, doctors. We do something called onboarding, which I really like. It's a lot for our providers to just remember the support group all the time, but when they're going through the diagnosis process with somebody, it's a lot for people. And I feel like those people really stand out, even to our providers. And I don't know why it was on here earlier. Let me look for this here. And so what we ask them to do is to provide them with information about our onboarding. So we do an onboarding if you are new to our group, new to Parkinson's, and it doesn't mean you have to be diagnosed within the last month or year or anything. It's just, are you not connected to a group? So we asked them to send this over. We put this in our newspaper. Our school systems have like a newsletter that goes out. We send it to all the providers, emails that we have on hand. We put it on our website. We put it on our Facebook page, but we get people from around the state, which is interesting because we have other support groups, but we have people drive 2 to 3 hours to attend our onboarding. We have an individual living with Parkinson's that co-hosts it with me or co-runs it. And then actually our support group members, they will come and talk about their journey thus far as well. So they may be in it 10, 15, 20 years, and then they will share with those people their lived experience as well. So it's a very good start to getting into our group, because we know that coming to a support group meeting with 50 people or 40 is a lot for somebody the first time. And they often won't always come, but our onboarding is normally 2 to 4 families that are newly diagnosed or impacted, and then some of our members, and then 2 hosts. So that's a great way if you want to connect. One of our board members also does a coffee time with people. So if they're not even comfortable coming to onboarding, she'll meet with them one-on-one. Her husband is living with Parkinson's, and she'll just meet with them and ask how we can support them at this point in their journey. Like, do they want the newsletter? Do they want us to send Facebook things or stuff in the mail, but they just aren't ready to come to the group yet? So that's another way that we connect. We just started pickleball for Parkinson's. Here they all are. That's not all of them, but we've had about 4 or 5 months. One of our members came back from Arizona and said, I love pickleball for Parkinson's in Arizona. Can we do it in North Dakota? And off our board went. And they've been doing it now for I think 3 or 4 months. And actually, the gentleman that wanted us to start it, he passed away about a month after he asked us to start it. So it's just been a great giving back to him because this was kind of his mission. So that's another way. Um, what else? We really try to connect to our large facilities outside of our state because I know, as Esther talked about, we don't have a lot of providers here in North Dakota either. We have 2 movement specialists in the state. Um, and so we connect to area Struthers. We are trying to connect to some locations in Arizona because we have a lot of snowbirds. And so we really work hard to get our members and outside of that as much as we can to help them with resources. When you guys looked at like Facebook pages and stuff too, like we have our entire board as admins on our Facebook to help with some of the things that Esther talked about that gets overwhelming for people. So one person doesn't feel like, am I supposed to delete this message or answer, or who can post or who can't? We have a Facebook page for that very reason. Family members love to be able to see what's going on, even if they're not in our community, because their parents are maybe attending, or maybe something has occurred and they want to get a hold of us. Our website, again, we put out a newsletter. We used to send out a monthly newsletter through email, but it got to be a lot for our one board member. So we said we'll send out a quarterly newsletter, and then update people online. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Yep, I see that. But no, I just think like talking, getting out there. We also do TV clips. So we are going to start doing them throughout the year. It's like 200 and some dollars, but we can share that. They give us the recording and then we can share it on our social media repeatedly so that people can get information about our support group and program. So that's us in a nutshell here in North Dakota.
Thank you so much, Megan, for sharing everything you do with your support group. So if you got some ideas, here they are. Does anyone have any questions right now for Megan or Esther? Just to give you a heads up, they are going to be joining you in the breakout rooms. So if you have, more detailed questions for them, you will be able to ask them when they come to your breakout rooms as well. Okay, but if it's something general, go ahead, Lori.
Okay, I don't want to be like the gloomer and doomer, but my husband's like starting to do more with like HR and stuff and liabilities and all that kind of thing. Like, if you have a board and like you have this big organization, are you like a LLC where you have liability insurance for Bob, the board member, that might go out to say something that like I'm just throwing it out there.
We're actually a nonprofit. We're a 501(c)(3).
Like, I don't know how all that works, honestly. I don't know. I'm going to say it's a process they even had to go through, like, oh, now we're making a little bit of money. Oftentimes though, just being a business owner myself too, like we do have some liability insurance that we carry for certain events. So we don't have liability insurance all year long. Right.
But then we just also preface that we are just sharing content and we are not, as Esther said, you can put out statements about not being a doctor, not being a medical provider. So we do carry it during specific events to protect ourselves in case something does come up.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and I am our group is not a 501(c), but we are under the umbrella of an organization called like the Independent Parkinson's something, which Joe Bidwell's group, the Southwest Parkinson's Society out of Lubbock, was. So when the group was originally started years ago, it was under her umbrella, and so yeah, but as Megan was saying, kind of as you grow and you start to need money and money starts to be a thing, like I understand why a lot of the groups go in the 501(c) direction. We're just lucky to kind of be partnered with somebody already that provides that for us.
What is, even as an influencer, is there a way to protect yourself?
Girl,
I mean, I'm just saying, like you have a lot of people that follow you, and like, what if you get somebody that's not very nice? I mean, not everybody's nice people. I mean, we like to think that everybody's nice, but
No, I mean, like what I do as an influencer is kind of separate from what I do with my Facebook page for the group, obviously. Um, and so it's just it's something that I personally, try and navigate as best that I can. I think other people do it to varying degrees of success. But yeah, my husband's always like, for example, like, don't post anything driving, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be careful, and it's true. But um, I think also that once you're online for a while and you see just like the absolute ridiculous way that some people just there is no line anymore. I call it like the wild wild west, especially on Facebook, and that's part of why I have leaned into Facebook so much is to try my best to be a buffer of reasoning in that space and not let it go completely feral. I just so you know, I started on TikTok, but I have now 9,000 followers on TikTok. My TikTok has grown very little in the last 2 years. My Facebook is now over 30,000. And that is because I leaned into Facebook to try and reach more people with Parkinson's, which there are so many of them out there, and try and, you know, steer the barge towards PMD Alliance and the other trusted, credible messengers that have our best interest at heart, and not the people that are trying to take advantage of us.
And yeah, and Lori, thank you, Esther. That was wonderful. And Lori, I think to your point, look into it. You can get varying levels of cost for liability insurance. Someone posted that Lauren posted that they have it for their organization. It can cover support group leaders. It's just we don't do it for that part. We bebop in and out of our plan for certain events. So I think it's a great, smart thing to look into for sure.
Thank you. And fortunately for us, actually, we have an attorney, former judge, support group leader here in the group who can answer that liability question. Go ahead,
Awesome.
Janie.
But she's not answering. She's giving you an answer, but I'm not providing legal advice.
Right. See?
So we did what Esther did. We started as and had an umbrella group over us at the Lexington group, Lexington, Kentucky, which is a much bigger town. And we just relied on what they did. When we became our own 501c3, we you just call an insurance agent and they will give you for a really inexpensive amount. You'll be able to get your directors and board member liability because you need that for the board members. They need to be protected. But that's not the same as the run insurance. So you
Mhm.
want something different for when you have like a once a year event. Um, just keep it. I think you can keep up with your insurance agent and they will know what you need for each. Everything's different. But what probably wasn't a lot of extra help. You all did very well. And every state's different. But you do want to protect your board members.
Thank you for that. That is very informative, Janie. We appreciate you being here and guiding us. And we're going to take
Excellent.
one last question, Dave, and then we're going to go into breakout rooms. Okay? Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, so I tried a Facebook page, and when I created it, I started getting even before I had a person join. It was ad after ad from people that I didn't even know. It just it just got to the point I had to shut it down. I couldn't before I could approach anybody. I had like 60 ads in one day.
Oh,
So
did you say ads?
yeah, people
Oh
dropping
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, so again, like at some point I always want to make like a tutorial because I learned a lot the hard way, but I also learned a lot from every Parkinson's organization. Every Parkinson's patient organization has someone that manages their social media accounts. And I learned so much from them. And like shout out to Amanda who's on this call. Look, she's under 40. She has all the wisdom in this area. And so they told me, for example, how to, and this is something I tell to most, I mentor a lot of other up and coming influencers and so that they don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. And so there's ways to change your settings. Okay, first of all, to not allow anybody to post anything on your page without your permission or review, to not allow comments featuring certain words, like it's called keyword blocking. I do, mine is parasites, cleanse, ivermectin, beach band, herbal, syphilis, herpes, and something else. I can't, but I have like 10 of them like, and they'll change, over time as more people like figure out ways to get, but and then you can block people, and then you can also close or limit your how many people can direct message you. You can shut all those things out. But it is, kind of, especially Facebook, it's so easily manipulated one way or the other. So you can make it as limited or open as you want, It's just a matter of the settings. And I'm still, learning as I go. But that for sure, because people will like I popped into it the other day, actually, my group one, and sure enough there was like Dr. Oogie Boogie's herbal cure, and I'm like, how did you get through my defenses? And it's like they'll put a space in between a word or something, and then I'll go back into my settings, like add that other word, And now what they do is they direct message you. They have people and they will are people in the community, or they are people pretending to be people in the community. And so unfortunately it's all about restricting, and you can restrict it and keep your defenses tight. But I still say it is the easiest way to get the largest reach. It's just all in that setup process.
And I think, Esther, with you saying you help people too, and if they need to take it one more level, I think, Dave, one thing I encourage people in our community is reach out to community colleges that have marketing or virtual, and you can actually get students who have student projects they have to do, and they will gladly help you. And then it's a free service, and you're helping them with a class. So there's many, many programs that you can utilize to get assistance with setting up your Facebook page for free and also connect with your local college.
Yeah, so I'm sort of a quasi albatross. I'm 80-year-old, but I know what a comma delimited file is. But Facebook is like a sewer anymore. I only get on there now to wish people happy birthday because I've got like 1,100 people that I used to work with or engage with, but I can't look at it anymore. It's just difficult.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. And I'll tell you honestly, for my group Facebook page, for the support group that I run, I have limited it so much that I basically am primarily using it as like an event function. So it's like if I was having a birthday party or something, you know what I mean? But it's my meetings, and so every meeting I just put in like as an event and the topic. And then I have a lovely friend who also co-runs the group with me, who is like my designated photographer. He literally just follows me around and takes pictures of everything that we do in the group. He did that before he met me. He just loves to take pictures. So he's like the designated photographer. And then he just documents anything. And that's what I use it for. I use it to announce our meetings, announce our events, post pics of what we do. And I think Clemmy was saying that, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was Megan, but that yeah, the friends and the family and the kids, and like they love to see like, oh, there they are, like doing their Parkinson's stuff, like yay, and like support it from beyond. So becomes almost like a scrapbook, you know, of our group, and I love that part of it.
Mm.
Thank
Thank
you.
you both. Thank you. All right. I know that one of the reasons we like to join these roundtables is to have that time to break out and share with some leaders from the community. So forget about the second bullet point. 40 minutes is going to be 30. We will be back at 1:20 Eastern time, so that we have some 10 minutes to share back. So you're going to go into rooms for about 4 or 5 people per room. And Megan and Esther will come around and visit you for 5 to 8 minutes. And please, in your group, designate a note taker so that when we come back at 1:20, that person can do the sharebacks. Okay? So have fun, enjoy it. We all love connecting with others. So off you go to your breakout rooms, Amanda, if you can help us with that. And you just, when the screen pops up and you say join, and that will take you to your breakout room. Okay? And we are here to help you if you have any questions. And if you have additional questions, you can also put them in the chat. All right. Have fun, you all. See you in 30 minutes.